Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the question of what's going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears, now the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in a world that invisible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way, but it's fading away. I'm losing the face, I'm losing a trace.
Um, hi, guys. Uh, alright. Louis Swan conjured an image in her mind. A white cruise ship sailing across the vast ocean. I need that bit too slow. A white cruise ship sailing across the vast ocean, its bow slicing through the wave, creating a melodious roar of water. Lots of seagulls glided on the currents, slowly drawing near. After the rain, the sun shone brightly, baking the deck that had been washed by the night storm. The passengers awakened from the tempest of the previous night, now embarking on a new day of life aboard ship. Suddenly, the leader among the seagulls issued a piercing cry, seemingly beckoning its companions to keep pace. The surrounding seagulls, stirred by the urgency of their leader's call, swiftly converged, curious about the new discovery that prompted such an eager summons. It seems that the original vessel was methodically disposing of its compressed scraps and remnants into the sea, attracting a multitude of fish that followed the antecedent scene. This in turn allowed the seagulls to indulge in a lavish feast merely by following the ship's way. The crescendo of their course summoned an ever-increasing flock of seabirds. Even the passengers aboard the cruise were drawn to their scene, reminiscent of a landscape painting, eagerly taking our their cameras to capture the moment. Amid the clamorous passengers and squabbling seabirds, the cruise ship's immense smokestacks languidly exhaled thin whiffs of smoke. I think accidentally. Amid the clamorous passengers and squabbling seabirds, the cruise ship's immense smokestacks languidly exhaled thin whiffs of smoke that painted the skies bright, and the Rizwan recalled the teachings of her psychology professor on how to steady turbulent emotions, vision a safe, stable sanctuary in your mind. but limit yourself to. Yuswan recalled the teachings of a psychology professor on how to study turbulent emotions. Envision a safe, stable sanctuary in your mind, but limit yourself to 3 seconds. The ticking time bomb in front of you, your necrotic finger, or the footsteps outside. No one, no one in the classroom knew that Jimmy was actually the teacher's favorite musician. However, his mention was followed by a laugh that sounded eerily like a howler monkey, sending the entire class into uproarious laughter. This laughter now seemed to float above the cruise ship, mingling with the tendrils of smoke. Rizwan felt her tension dissolve completely.
一、二、三。
So he covered the portrait. Probably fine if I put here. But 1, 2, 3. Liu Xuan counted 3 seconds and her vision, which had been missing for so long, finally returned home. She could see the familiar ceiling above her, but her body remained paralyzed, unable to move, not even her eyes. Suddenly, Liu Xuan heard a distant sound. Liu Xuan felt as if her ears had been prickled by needles, becoming abnormally sensitive. They picked up a ticking sound, growing closer and more
在下
rapid.
雨，而且很大。
Where is the duck or is he? It was raining and heavily so. Wait, is it too loud? I think I do it to 40. I'm not sure which the best one. It's about 25. Rizwan tried to sniff, and her belated sense of smell, tinged with the scent of blood, instantly jolted her brain. This also made her desperately want to regain the last sense not under her control. Rizwan furrowed her brows, straining to recover her sense of touch. Her efforts soon paid off. Her efforts soon paid off. She felt herself propped against something soft, with the sensation of sweat-soaked skin against her back. Then, struggling, Rizwan managed to lift her right hand to touch her chest, feeling fabric soaked with some kind of liquid. By now, she almost understood her condition, but the scene she pictured hinted at imminent danger. She wanted to control her body to at least be able to lower her head to survey her surroundings, but to no avail. The vast ocean, the cruise liner, and once more sunlight made its appearance. Rizwan inhaled deeply, the pungent acrid smell of blood flooding his nostrils. prompting every muscle in his body to tense as if recoiling from the order, though it also made them easier for Lucian to comment.
好，
Good. There is bleeding on her body. Lucian turned her head to survey her surroundings. The living room of her home, dark because the lights were off. Despite the gloom, it was clear that the usually orderly furniture had been tossed about as if a typhoon had ripped through the sea to the area. Oh, there's blood on the sofa and her and body. This one looked, but there's no. Is there injured? But this one looked down and saw her white shirt wildly torn open, stained with a red liquid that really resembled the gaping mouth of a great white shark. Slipping her hand inside, she found her bra still in place, though its front clasp had been ripped apart. It was as if someone had used a sharp blade to viciously split the chest open, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Yet the chest bore not a single scratch. This one momentarily set aside her dopes, pushed herself out the couch. From the couch, Lisa momentarily set aside her dopes, pushed herself out from the couch, and immediately heard a thick, dripping sound behind her. She walked a few steps, then turned back to see a blood-red cascade draped over the sofa where she had just been seated. The most heavy stain was exactly where her back had
如
rested.
果有人从正面捅穿我的胸口，然后向下切开，那血迹就会变成现在这样。
If someone had stabbed through my chest from the front and then made If someone had stabbed through my chest from the front and then made a downward cut, the blood would have looked just like this. Okay. However, she felt no discomfort whatsoever. In fact, she felt unusually strong, as if she could break the record for a 500 meters specialty obstacle course and maybe even just a disagreeable superior 10 meters away with one hand. However, she felt no discomfort whatsoever. In fact, she felt unusually strong, as if she could break the record for a 500 meters specialty obstacle course and maybe even toss a disagreeable superior 10 meters away with one hand. Also, just injured. Yes, and he got blood. He got blood on herself, but he's still fine. But now was not the time for such thoughts. Lucian noticed her close partner lying in front of the couch. On the glass coffee table next to a spa magazine, she stepped forward and picked it up. Her friend was the gun. The silver handgun named the Beethoven 1900 was developed in-house by the agency. It was the only gun she was permitted to carry off duty. It fired 9mm rounds and it had it in the magazine. Oh, there's an 8 bullet in this handgun, Beethoven 1900. Beethoven 1900. This one tilted the handgun, noting the safety was off. She promptly engaged it, noting the safety was off. She promptly engaged it, ejected the magazine, and saw from the cutaway that 6 rounds remained. She couldn't recall having fired the gun recently. Oh, so there's 2 bullets already missing from the gun, but she didn't remember if she had used the bullet. Her memories were mostly of concluding a 3-month-long mission yesterday and beginning her leave. After returning home, she had planned some rest. But then her recollections skipped to the present. She reinserted the magazine as it clicked into place. A roll of thunder echoed from outside. Oh, so even the house looks messy. the table cracked, so the chair got to the state. Suddenly, a flash of lightning illuminated the room. Lucian widened her eyes, staring at her left palm. An oval-shaped black hole had appeared in the center, perfectly integrated with her skin, yet it disregarded the natural undulations of her muscles, remaining a smooth, flawless oval from every angle.
伤口，还是什么东西贴在上面了？
Is it a wound or something else adhered to my skin? Lucian decided to slowly bend her thumb to touch the mysterious oval. Suddenly, a swarm of tiny black monsters burst from the dark hole, writhing wildly in the palm of Lucian's hand. They clambered her fingers, reached toward the base of her thumb, and then circled back. She slightly leaned back, yet her gaze remained locked, utterly captivated. The black monsters began to swirl around an oval center, evoking images of primitive cave paintings with simple lines depicting people engaged in eerie, ritualistic dances around a campfire. Lucian's curiosity far outweighed her puzzlement as she watched, mesmerized by the spectacle. As the chaotic dance of the black lines subsided, their movements became orderly. They bent and straightened, gradually taking shape into forms Lucian could recognize. Soon, the masters settled into static patterns, transforming into simple lines. Lucian slightly lowered her hand, meticulously tracing the patterns that now adorned her hand. Oh, so the monsters came out from her hand in the form of line.
10、百、千、万、亿，这是1亿。
1, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100 million. Is this 100 million? The numbers that appeared in the center of her palm paused briefly before they repeatedly scrambled and retracted back into the dark oval. Lucian unconsciously licked her lips, only then realizing they were cracked and bleeding. An overwhelming array of mysteries stacked up like a landslide. In the fast lane of her thoughts, demanding she take a moment to methodically sift through them. However, before she could even divert her gaze from her palm, another clap of thunder resounded. Well, actually, the animation in this game are much more than Chrono Trigger. In this scene, Lucian's eyes widened as she fixed her gaze on the shadow, and also the OST are better. Lucian's eyes widened as she fixed the surrounding sound. Lucian's eyes widened as she fixed her gaze on a shadow lurking beneath the shattered glass coffee table, then abruptly turned her head. The shadow outside seemed to react to her stare, steering to left. It bent forward, its jagged back rising ominously before it moved and shattered the glass. As the sinister shape entered the room, its back scraping the ceiling, Lucian could see its skin cracked like rock. Raindrops fell upon it, absorbed instantly, yet they were far from enough to sustain such a harsh form. Along with this unusual figure, a horrendous stench invaded the room. It was a thick, putrid blend of rotting flesh and filth, so overpowering that Lucian could almost hear flies buzzing around as if boarding a gathering in her house.
别瞎想，
Stop daydreaming. Lucian imagined a cruise ship breaking through a fatty sea towards dawn. As she raised her gun and flickered off the safety, she fired 2 shots. The unique... Oh, so this is a present, right? Fired 2 shots. The unique melodious sound of the gunshot is not a dream. The unique melodious sound of the gunshots resonated like piano notes, soon followed by the thud of bullets lodging into the trunk. And also the translation not machine translation is quite good translation. The master resembling unlike the time I played Daughter, the master resembling Deadwood slowed his steps momentarily before collapsing onto the ground. His drooping white filaments lightly touched the ground before suddenly sprang up, his slender limbs rapidly propelling it toward Rizwan. The hissing sound of rainwater being absorbed by his skin slightly stirred Rizwan's innate sense of fear like the gentle flicker of a storm. As Rizwan backed away, she fired her last 4 bullets. Swiftly, she put a spare magazine from her pocket and reloaded. But just as she chambered a new round, the master caught up with her and knocked her to the ground, a suffocating stench enveloping her. Struggling to flip herself over, she found struggling to flip herself over, she found the beast's weight too much to manage, wrapping her firmly. The rumbling sound of the massive tree moving caused Lucian's head to ash. The dark Deadwood monster split open its trunk, revealing a dark green diaphragm that writhed continuously. The fiercely white limbs now stood erect like the lion stalks. Lucian felt the monster grab her right arm, pulling her toward the gaping split. Her mind screamed with alarms, a red flash of
不
danger.
行，绝对不能！
No, hell no. Suddenly, a horror she had never felt in her 27 years surged over her like a flood, overwhelming her senses. Lucian's right arm shrank rapidly inside her sleeve. Her pink skin turning to ash as her muscles were gruesomely exposed. The smooth, orderly tissues contracted wildly, resembling the limbs of a dead insect. She screamed in horror as an unknown red substance seeped out from her sleeve, quickly absorbed by the deadwood. Within seconds, only the white bones of her right arm remained. Meanwhile, the deadwood's withered limbs flourished maliciously, sprouting pulsating black tissues like boiling mud. Reflexively, Lucian raised her left hand to grab the branches of the deadwood, noticing the black lines of the palm dancing wildly once again. This time the number was missing one digit. It had dropped by 2 million from the initial 1 billion. Oh, this time the number should not. This should be more on this tag. So the log didn't show fully. The dialogue. Oil storm. She had no time to consider what this meant, as every second was a luxury. While the cruise ship settled on the brink in the violent storm, once again, Lucian swung her left arm to retrieve the handgun that had dropped nearby. She swung it behind her back. Once again, Lucian swung her left arm to retrieve the handgun that had dropped nearby. She swung it behind her back and rapidly fired 6 straight shots downwards. It did show fully. Oh, so it only can show up to two row for each dialogue. After that, it cut. uh, from the lock. Years of regular training had honed Liswan's muscles to precision, enabling her to fire her gun without a tremor even in dire situations, with each bullet striking nearly the same spot. Testing. After a series of sharp gunshots, one bullet finally pierced the body of the Deadwood and launched into the ceiling. This seemed to destabilize the Master, momentarily lifting his body and giving Liswan a chance to roll away to safety. Quickly, she pushed off the ground with one hand, leveraging her solid core strength to flip back to her feet. Once stable, Liswan immediately checked her arm. So what? Oh, so the point from the point shown from the listener hand decreased by 2 million. By around 2 million. He was unharmed, but the terrifying sensation she had experienced and the vigorous blood flash on the master was stark evidence that her arm had temporarily vanished. Oh no. It reduced another 2 million. 96 million. Oh, right now it's 96 million. So that thing already stole 4 million. 4 million digit. Lucian switched the empty air gun to her right hand and glanced again at her left arm, where the number now read 96 million.
又少了一些。
So
原来如此。
so it's decreased again, I see. Gasping for breath, she temporarily set aside the scattering debris in her thoughts to concentrate on the master before her. The Deadwood seemed enamored with the burgeoning blood muscles on his body, playing as though appreciating a fine wine, clearly not yet satisfied and poised to attack this one again. But as it bent forward, it abruptly twisted and froze. Facing the window, Lucian glanced outside and noticed the rain was easing, soon to stop. The Deadwood seized the moment, flipped over, and crawled out the window into the night. Also, as soon the rain stopped, he ran away. Holding her breath, Wiswan tightened her grip on the handgun and slowly approached the window. She leaned against the wall, and peeked outside. The underbrush in the villa area was disheveled and scattered, with a trail leading off into the distance. Soon the rain stopped, and the movement in the bushes ceased. Wiswan kept keyed up, her eyes fixed on the silent darkness until even the full stench had completely disappeared. Only then did she turn and lean against the wall.
要在下雨前查清楚是怎么回事。
Oh, so that thing appeared only during the rainy weather. That it ran away. I need to figure out what's going on before it is again. The storm had subsided and feeling slightly more at ease. Lisa activated her phone flashlight, hoping to uncover some clues in the living room that might explain the events during her memory gap. So she didn't even remember what happened when, how she gotten in this situation in the first place, like the blood around her, and how, yeah. However, the recent cover had left only chaotic footprints on the floor, some resembling animal hoof or snake-like marks, likely just muddy stains left by an intruder and entered during the rain. Realizing the urgency of the situation, he quickly pocketed her phone and headed into the bedroom. There were two wardrobes in the room. The left was filled with The left was filled with a variety of clothing reflecting recent fashion trends and several uniquely patterned and material kins. At the bottom, the right, when open, revealed an array of exclusively black garments resembling a bat cape in its stark uniformity. Lucian didn't hesitate. She approached the right wardrobe and selected a bra, a shirt, and a trench coat.
开枪和玻璃被打碎的声音应该被人注意到了。
The sounds of gunfire and shattering glass must have drawn
现
attention.
在先躲开警察，等他们走了再去保安室看监控录像，最好能找到我昏迷那段时间的线索。
Alright. I should avoid the police for now. Once they have left, I head to the security office to check the surveillance footage. Hopefully, it will reveal what happened while I was unconscious. As Liu Swan considered whether she should clean the bloodstained shirt, should clean the bloodstained shirt and sofa cover, she pulled out a drawer from under the bed, took it out completely, and then retrieved a briefcase hidden underneath. The case held all the essentials for her work. She took two spare magazines from the case and stashed them in the inner pockets of her coat, then refilled the emptied magazines with the remaining bullets. Oh, I thought it's magazine. Also, it's the for the gun, for the handgun. Remaining bullets. That was all the ammunition she had left.
如果现在要收拾现场的痕迹，那肯定来不及在警察到之前走。先不管了。
So I guess he is a police because he can be a handgun. And also he had somehow can access the surveillance camera. But start cleaning up now. I won't have time to leave before the police arrive. I have to leave it. But if I start cleaning up now, I won't have time to leave before the police arrive. I have to leave it.
还有手上这个莫名其妙冒出来的洞，和这些事情恐怕都有关联。现在先到白薇那儿去看看，他能不能查出点什么。
Also, she want to leave quickly before the police came. Also, this mysterious hole that appeared on my hand seems connected to everything else. I should visit by way to see if he can figure something out. The dressing table beside her bed was cluttered with cosmetics, some of which Liu Swan couldn't even recall the use for, likely a side effect of being away on missions for too long. But there was no time to sort through them now. She grabbed the car keys from the dressing table, picked up the briefcase and made her way to the garage. Stepping out of her room, Liu Swan glanced at her phone to unlock it. I hope this mineral long, okay, I can enjoy it longer. After her old phone had been destroyed during a previous mission, her colleague had persuaded her to buy this trendy new model, which she was still getting used to. She manually typed in Byway's number and pressed call, contemplating the years it would take to reboot her empty contact list. At exactly 2:20 a.m., she was about to hang up, not wanting to disturb Byway's sleep, but he picked up the phone just in time.
你回来了。
Hello, you are back? No, I am Liu Xuan. Byway sounded energized, clearly not just woken from sleep.
昨天刚回来，电话里先不说那些。你今天值晚班？
I got back yesterday. We can talk details later. Are you on tonight?
怎么了？他们没把你治好就丢回来了吗？
Yeah, what's up? Did they send you back without freezing you up?
我没事，没受伤。
I'm fine. I'm fine. With, by which outward concern, by which outward concern help blur the lingering fear inside Louis one, replacing it gradually with a sense of
但我有事
security.
要找你。诊所忙吗？
But I need to see you. Is the clinic
不
busy?
忙，快来吧。
Not busy. Come on
好。
over. Okay. Oh, Louis one ended the call, pressed the garage door opener, and waited as the rolled up door began to rise, detecting a strange smell. The full order left by the master was now more annoying as her adrenaline had subsided. Oh, so the master smelled something. She planned to grab the citrus scented roll-on perfume from her car's storage box once inside. Just a quick shake and application on her wrist and behind her ears would allow the fragrance to rapidly evaporate with her body heat. As the garage door fully opened, Rizwan eagerly stepped into the black electric car, ready to drive through the quiet streets of the night. But on the midnight road, only Rizwan's car waited at the traffic light. She took the chance to reach. So right now it's 2 a.m. He took a chance to reach into the compartment and pull out a bottle of perfume. The cylindrical bottle was frosted glass. For some reason, she couldn't recall what brand it was, and no lettering on the bottle offered her an answer. Ah, it must have been on the box. She didn't think much of it. The bottle was nearly empty, and she was indeed in the habit of wearing perfume. She popped open the cap, letting the roller ball glide across her wrist and neck. At once the fragrance of rosemary mixed with lemon, neroli, and rose began to spread. And with it, the cruise ship finally reappeared, sailing once more across a calm sea. The sight filled Rizwan with a composed serenity. Just then, the light turned green. She pressed the accelerator and continued toward the clinic. She disliked the thought of dragging Dr. Byway into this inexplicable matter, yet given her present predicament, this was something I had to do. Oh, what we have here? The hole heading to Byway's private clinic. What is this? Alright, let's read this thing. Heading to the Byways private clinic for help. The moon is back tonight, prompting me to restart my journal. I have been a diligent recorder since I first started 5 years ago, up until last month when I lost my old phone in an accident. The loss of so much data disheartened even me, someone often called detached, and I had resolved to stop journaling. However, the fear and confusion stirred by tonight's events have compelled me to document them again. Whether transforming memories into immiscible text can instill confidence in me or reassure me that my experiences were not just nightmares. Writing at least offers me and every reader a chance to calm my mind. Bloodstains on the sofa, a black hole in my palm, blood writing in the air, full smelling dark wood, and and an arm that withered and then instantly revived. Returning to my home in Agate City after 3 months, I recounted a series of bizarre and symmetrical events on my very first night back. Unsure how to handle this incident, my immediate plan is to meet with Byway and have the anomaly in my palm examined at the hospital, hoping that the fortress of science and reason can help me confront this type of mysteries and illness. Alright, let's check the context. My earliest memory is of a room in the orphanage. It was adorned with wallpaper depicting blue skies and white clouds. There I felt enveloped in warmth and love as I grew. When I was 14, an agency seeking children with sexual background. When I was 14, an agency seeking children with straightforward backgrounds approached the orphanage, and I was chosen. Chosen for what? Agency seeking children with straightforward backgrounds approached the orphanage, and I was chosen. My surname had been given by one of the orphanage benefactors. Somehow I felt it was my destiny to take on this job, whose details were still unclear to me. So without much reluctance, I decided to leave the orphanage and follow the agency, a path that has led me to where I am today. So it's actually a secret agency seeking children with sexual backgrounds. Unknown contact. This phone not only categorizes unsafe numbers as unknown, but can also do the same for some known ones, a feature I find especially useful. When I discovered it, I promptly used it to anonymize a contract whose identity must remain concealed. Now I find myself in dire need of its assistance. Concealed as unknown, but additional is my house. So this is the only option for now. Byway private clinic. Alright, oh, so I need to click that. Luswan pushed open the frosted glass door of the clinic and immediately spotted Byway with his back to her, meticulously arranging medical supplies on a metal rack beside hospital bed. Unsure of what injuries she might have, she had prepared a variety of medications and a large stack of white bandages.
哪儿受伤了？躺下来吧。
Where are you hurt? Just lie down. But Luswan waved her hand to indicate she was really fine. But Byway looked at her over skeptically. After a thorough check, he finally felt reassured enough to remove his sterile glove and settle back into his swivel
那
chair.
这还是你第一次凌晨赶来诊所，身上却没带着几个冒血的窟窿。
So this is the first time you have rushed to the clinic in the middle of the night without any visible bullet holes.
这次任务虽然时间长，但不怎么危险。
This mission was lengthy but not particularly dangerous. Wait, what? This mission was lengthy but not really dangerous. I just wondering what this mission that Luswan mean. Luswan responded, walking over to the window and pulling back the curtain to ensure that the dark sky was not beginning to rain. Also, she wanted to check
不过你要
the
说
sky
困的
if it
话，
rained. The master came when it was raining. However, if you're asking about warmth, Luswan removed her glove to show Byway the unusual condition on the palm of her hand. But Byway, now 47, oh, so she's quite age 47, had previously studied in Canada and worked there as a surgeon during a time of frequent large-scale protests and riots. Renowned as an outstanding orthopedic specialist, also he had already had a lot of experience. Studied in Canada as a surgeon. Oh, I thought 47 is her age. Is the doctor? My bad. But by way, studied in Canada, is a surgeon, frequents large-scale protests and riots. Renowned as an outstanding orthopedic specialist, it was routine for him to perform 5 surgeries a day due to heavy caseload during those tumultuous times. Oh, it's not easy to do surgeries. It's a risky job since you had to deal with people's life. Especially he also do 5 surgeries. It's a lot. After the situation had stabilized, 7 years had swiftly passed. Oh, so this was during the time where probably he was at peak. So after the situation had stabilized, 7 years had swiftly passed. Eventually, Byway decided to return to his home country with his wife and open a private clinic, which he still operates today. Over the years, Byway has seen numerous cases of physical trauma, becoming somewhat desensitized to them. However, the black oval on Louis's palm was disturbingly unusual, causing his hair to stand on
会
end.
痛吧？现在是什么感觉？
You see? You see something bad? Does it hurt? It looks bad, but her didn't. It seems fine. Does it hurt? What does it feel like right now? It looks creepy, but nothing dangerous. But life threatening. But Byway grasped Lucian's waist, leaning in closely to his back for any signs of the black ellipse peering through her palm, but he could discern nothing.
先去拍个 X 光，然后告诉我发生了什么。
Let's get an X-ray first, then you can tell me what happened. Lucian nodded, double-checked that it wasn't raining outside. So she's still checking for the weather outside, and then followed by Way out of the examination room. As they walked, she began to explain the chaotic scene at her home and her encounter with the Deadwood Master, where we don't want that thing to attack uh, suddenly. On the other side of the city, several police cars had pulled up in front of Lufan's house, their red and blue intertwined lights constantly filling and scanning the darkened driveway. Residents were poking their heads around the windows in their robes. Apparently, the sleepiness of the early morning hours hadn't dampened their excitement to get together at all. The officers from the criminal room were talking and laughing, seemingly having only arrived not long ago and still making preparations before forensics. However, the leading captain took a phone call and began to greet all the officers present as they closed up. The incident, which took place in the center of the city, and in which the caller claimed to have heard gunshots, came to an abrupt end, and there was no more official investigation. With the sound of distant sirens, the rain fell again. Oh no, the rain was falling. If that master will appear again, I don't remember. After sharing her harrowing ordeal, Rizwan knew by way would need some time to digest it all. She leaned against the clinic's window, making a call on a basic phone to her boss since the police had visited her home. The loud noises from her confrontation with the deadbolt master had undoubtedly alarmed the property management, who likely decided the best course of action was to check the situation and then call the police. The agency usually facilitated smooth interactions with other official bodies, but also encouraged its members to avoid unnecessary complications with external organizations. Considering both personal relations and the agency's unique nature, so I still not really fully understand what her agency all about. He joined the agency. Therefore, Luiswan braced for a reprimand but was surprised when her boss didn't even ask her to file a report. Instead, he simply acknowledged the situation and said it would be handled. He also mentioned that there was a significant issue with the agency's record and no new missions would be forthcoming soon. Luiswan ended the call with some confusion. But since she wasn't a clerical worker at the agency, she didn't need to worry about the archival issues. Meanwhile, Byway was examining the X-ray films of both hands, which he had clipped onto the light box. The image of her left hand clearly showed an oval obscuring the X-ray, appearing as a stark dark
恐
spot.
怕需要再做别的检查，但我也不敢刺激这个东西，很难办。
We might need to run some more tests, but I'm hesitant to provoke whatever this is. It's tricky. Rizwan nodded, pondering her next step if she could find help
除了
here.
我之外，还有人经历过同样的事吗？
Has anyone else ever gone through something like
我有
this?
个皮肤科的朋友，见多识广，我会去问问。
I have a dermatologist friend. I have a dermatologist friend we've seen a lot. I asked
这
him.
段时间你别乱跑，待在路城等消息。
For now, just don't go anywhere. Stay in Agate City and wait for my
谢
update.
了，老白。
Thanks,
先不
buddy.
说这些，你坐下。
Let's set that aside for now. Please take a seat. Rizwan sat across from Byway and immediately noticed his lips twitching unnaturally. A sign of his nervousness. A sign of his nervousness from her past encounters with
精
him.
神科的事我不了解，只能简单问你几句。
I am not versed in psychiatry, so I can only ask you for a few straightforward questions.
我精神
Me,
科，
wait, I'm not versed in psychiatry, so I can only ask you for a few. Me, psychiatry.
你说的话我都相信，但是
I believe everything you are saying, but Byway leaned forward, grasping his hands
你
tightly.
刚才提到的枯木，那显然是一种很奇怪的生物，那种体型很难在城市里隐蔽行踪，以及你的手臂和它突然长出来的肌肉，我也无法理解。
The deadwood monster you described is clearly something unusual. Given its size, it would be hard to move around the city unnoticed, and I can make sense of your arm's rapid muscle growth or its
在
body.
此之前， 你从没见过这种东西吧？
You have never seen anything like this before, right?
没有，我是第一次碰到。
No, this was my first
我知
encounter.
道，你这行的人面对突发情况有办法保持
I
冷
know
静，
your training
但这
prepares
次
you
跟
to
以前
handle
可没
certain
法比。
situations calmly. And that's why when that weird thing came to her, he so calm. But this is different from any previous scenario.
吕璇，你明白吗？
This one, do you
这已经
understand?
不是心理素质的问题了，你现在给我的感觉不太对劲。
This is no longer just a matter of mental resilience. There is something off about your condition. This one nodded, recognizing Byway's
但
concern.
现在能保持冷静，算是救了我自己一命。所以这件事先……
However, staying calm has probably saved my life for now. So for the moment, let's. Okay, it's as I thought it might be. As Yusran heard raindrops striking the awning, a hissing sound quickly followed, culminating in a deafening crash of shattering glass.
老白，快跑，先出去！
Testing. Bye, run, get out first. He kicked Byway's swivel chair out of the way and bent down to draw her handgun. As she disengaged this safety, she opened fire on the Deadwood monster that had burst to the clinic. Testing. Bullets hit it, but it twisted and writhed, pulling itself completely into the cramped clinic. While a foul stench filled the air. Byway pushed to the doorway by the momentum of the chair, opened the door and dashed into the clinic's lobby to begin evacuating the night shift staff. In the bright light of the clinic, the sun could finally see the master clearly. It was less a master of Deadwood and more a black, withered skeleton, uneven and gaunt. Now the key masters, nerves and organs, all of which it seemed to want from Yuswan. Yuswan fired off her remaining 4 bullets without hesitation, quickly swapping the empty magazine for a full one she had ready and prepared for another round. The master seemed overwhelmed by the onslaught. It thrashed, its black muscular parts bringing a large medicine cabinet toward this one. The heavy metal cabinet, mixed with shards of glass, curled toward her. Forced to cease fire, she dodged the cabinet, but a flying medicine jar almost tripped her, causing her to stagger. No, she got tripped by the medicine bottle. Taking advantage of her momentary imbalance, the Deadwood master leaped toward Yuswan, charging directly at her. The impact hit Yuswan hard in the chest, sending her flying out of the clinic like a stunned actor on wires. She tumbled to the ground, quickly regaining her footing and sprinting toward a nearby storage room. As she ran, she noticed several gashes across her chest, where the master's branches had struck her, with blood slowly seeping out. Glancing back to make sure the Deadwood master hadn't followed, she checked the palm of her left hand. Thankfully, there were no widely dancing numbers this time. The master, typically aggressive, hesitated and moved cautiously. It caught its body and crept slowly into the storage room, its head-like structure swaying unnervingly. Yuswan contemplated attacking the clump of black mass again, hoping it might be more effective, but suddenly noticed something odd about the master.
不对，他没看着我。
He is not looking at me. The deadwood wasn't alert to her gun. Instead, his curved body was aimed slightly to the right of her, keeping her gun aimed at the deadwood. Lisa quickly glanced to her right. From the shadows, a monster that was almost but not quite human approached her. It had a face eerily similar to a human's, and from her angle it seemed to be smiling. The monster swung a thick tail nearly a meter long, body covered in pale, fine hair, and spotted long grey hair, looking almost human. However, its lower half had the bent legs typical of feline animals. The swan slowly backed away, but the pale master sped up his claw towards her, clearly targeting her. Compared to the terrifying appearance of the Deadwood Master, this one felt a strange fondness for despite being. It looked somewhat cute. Testing. Hello. Is it cute? But the thought lasted only a moment. Okay, so that's only a moment. After this thing, I don't think that one was good. The pen master turned his face, the wall of eye toward the ground, and then opened its mouth. A vast mouth that occupied half of its head, filled with blade-like fangs. This one screamed and fell back onto the ground, but the grotesque display was far from over. The master lifted its left hand, revealing a crack that stretched from the base of its thumb across the wrist. Suddenly, the crack widened, exposing a rugged black interior. Also, describing the thing that came out from something like a mouth. Suddenly, the crack widened, exposing a rugged black interior from which dark red tongue emerged. Checking, this one also turned her left hand. The black oval remained unchanged, but the connection between her and the master was unmistakable. The master then turned attention to the wounds on Lucian's chest. He bent forward and began crawling toward her on all fours.
别过来，不许动，否则我要开枪了。
Stay back, don't move, or I shoot. Lucian won, perhaps unnerved by the master's disturbingly human-like appearance. However, it had human-like appearance and a feline animals. Lucian won, perhaps unnerved by the master's disturbingly human-like appearance. However, it ignored her warning and accelerated its pace. Before Lucian could raise her gun, the master had already lunged to her arms. Now, on the ground, the master's head opened wider and its thicker, more agile tongue licked at Lucian's bleeding wounds. Running along the surface of the tongue were black lines. Identical to those on the palm of her left hand running along the surface. Lucian threw her head back, her teeth chattering as she gripped the gun tightly. Her fingernails digging painfully into the skin. The Deadwood Master, seemingly unable to restrain itself any longer, suspected that the pale intruder was there to steal its prey. However, with the chance to restore its own body so close, it wasn't about to relinquish its opportunity. It had spent too much time in the sewers subsisting on pretty water. The Pale Master acted first. Organs on either side of his head suddenly opened, and in the next instant it darted beneath the deadwood. What happened next was something Lucian could never have imagined. What does he mean by Pale Master? Is it that White Master? darted beneath the dead wood. Oh, so it attacked the it attacked the dead wood. Accompanied by the sounds of cracking wood chips and the heavy tearing of bark, the Paymaster began to feed. His massive mouth, positioned atop his head, tore open the dead wood's body and started to devour it. To lose one, the dead wood seemed to crumble like a chocolate wafer, scattering fragments as it was consumed by the Paymaster's head. The dead wood thrashed wildly, cracking the walls of the warehouse and leaving dark scratches where signs hung. Meanwhile, the small predator used its strong tail to stabilize itself, treating the dead wood's resistance as if it were merely displaying of a revolving restaurant and continued to gulp death. His left hand even reached directly into the horrific crack in the dead wood that had been feeding on his arm, extracting soft tissues to stuff his gaping mouth. Wilson slowly stood up, leaning against the wall corner, debris scattered around her, and black fluid from the dead wood's shattered body pooled at her feet. She gripped her handgun, unsure of what to do next. All the knowledge and skills she had seemed useless against this scene. The small weapon in her hand was her only support. But if the Pale Master turned his appetite toward her next, would the handgun really be effective? Her mind briefly conjured a terrifying scenario, and a quake struck the sea where the cruise ship sailed. Massive waves swiftly rose and morphed into the shape of the Pale Master. Effortlessly slicing the cruise ship in half. 3 seconds later, Liu Xuan was jolted back to reality. The Deadwood Master had vanished, leaving only fragments and a pool of black liquid on the ground. Oh, so the dark, so the Deadwood actually had a blood, like black liquid. The scene before her was more eerie than anything she could have imagined. The predator lay on the ground, its face resembling a human's pressed against the earth, while its mouth on top of its head slowly swept up the remaining debris with its tongue. Rizwan aimed her gun at it, calculating where to shoot to maximize the likelihood of hit. Contentedly, the Pale Master stood up, tiger tongue licking around its mouth, or closing its head. It then began to crawl toward Rizwan once again. Rizwan felt her hand holding the gun tremble slightly and her vision blur. She knew her body was fine. It was her nerve getting the better of her. She had faced the Deadwood Master without flinching, so why did this seemingly more benign Pale Master unsettle her so much? Oh, so when he stands, the Master actually looks like more human. The Master paused in front of Rizwan, paced around her like a dog, then settled down at her feet. It folded in the appendage it had previously extended, now seemingly completely relaxed. Rizwan rotated the gun toward its head. As Rizwan considered whether she could have handled the Deadwood Master alone, but this Pale Master not appeared, she questioned his intentions. Was it hostile? Should she ignore the resemblance it bore to her? She answered their looks with a resolute no, then secured the safety on her handgun and tucked it into her coat. Carefully, she bent down and reached out to touch the Pale Master's fur. The moment she made contact, she felt the warmth of a living being and the rhythmic thumping of his heartbeat. A familiar, comforting sensation that slightly narrowed the distance between them. Gradually, Liu Xuan placed her hand on the master. In response, its thick tail rose quietly, pressing against her back to support her weight and curling at a comfortable angle to allow her to sit and rest. The seemingly friendly master extended its neck and turned its head to gently touch Yuswan's cheek. The hard ridges around its massive mouth scraped uncomfortably against her skin. But she dared not move abruptly, choosing instead to reluctantly appreciate this dangerous act of kindness.
Emotions floating all around, smoke the pain, igniting the hope. Skip the question of what's going on, embracing life with no clue. Be in the moment, you say. Wipe your tears now, the rain has stopped. Another chapter unfolds in a world that invisible. I count the number of those broken souls, wanting to find a way, but it's fading away. I'm moving the fast, I'm losing a trace.
Or Brody Part 2. At the cruise ship, the decomposed made its way through the sea, propelled by wave fleckered with milky foam, heading toward Logos Dock. Despite having a new travel companion, Yusman's nerves were not calm. She was anxious about the unpredictable currents and worried that they might not reach their destination, feeling powerless over the ship's course. Or is it? Is the sound too low? Testing? Hello? Yeah, actually not sure what is the most the better sound level. Meanwhile, her companions seemed relaxed and at ease. She invited Lucian to the balcony to enjoy the endless expanse of the sea and sky while sampling some freshly brewed red tea. She invited Lucian, who is she, to see The sea breeze mingled with the steam from the tea, wafting its rich aroma to Luan, which momentarily suited her. Luan took a sip of her tea, pushing her concerns to the back of her mind. I wish there are more regional way like this, because I like this kind of vibe to the regional way. Staring out at the ocean, she reassured herself that the cruise ship would ultimately. Staring out at the ocean, she reassured herself that the cruise ship would ultimately reach its destination, and it didn't really matter if that wasn't Logos Dock. What mattered was the journey continued. "Come take a seat over here," her companion called out. Yuswan nodded and walked over to sit, but suddenly lost her balance and fell backward. Startled from her dreams by a sudden twitch, Yuswan found herself lying in her familiar bed, her gaze locked onto the well-known ceiling above. Nestled beside her was a small creature, its body cloaked in milky white fur. Yeah, so just what is that thing? There's the pale master, right? It lay curled up, utterly still, save for the gentle parting of the great mouth atop his head. Save for the gentle parting. Since it elected eyelids, unlike most animals, Lisman was unsure how to tell if it was still dreaming. She thought about calling its name to see if it would respond. "Hey, doggy doggy." As she sat up on the edge of the bed, she remembered how Bai Wei had paused for a long time when filing out the name on the blood test form for the creature. "I've never had to name another being before." Even her social media handle was merely her student ID. The act of naming felt daunting. If the creature did not respond or seem upset, she doubted her ability to devise a more suitable name.
小白?
Perhaps Pelion? Pelion suddenly lifted his head, his large mouth trembling as it opened in a languid stretch, his tongue stretched out. After closing his mouth, Pelion climbed onto Luceman, licking the bandage on her arm. Needing to show more affection, he then nestled his cheek against her, much as it had hours
他
before.
好像很喜欢这样。
It seems to really enjoy this. Believed Luceman see and gently pushed Pelion away. Before rising from the bed, she picked up her phone from the nightstand. It was just past 9.
昨晚回来的时候，
so her
我也
name
没
is
找我多问，是觉得我已经在警察那里做过笔录了吧？
the name of that thing is Pelion now. The property management didn't ask questions last night. They must know I've already spoken to the police. With this thought, Luceman headed toward the living room. Suddenly, she noticed a full smell from her clothes and realized a stronger scent was coming from Pelion following behind her. Luceman guessed that the mysterious creature made of withered wood might have transferred the full odor to them. Regardless, having such a smell permeate her home was distressing. Right? So the thing, that wood creature smell very nasty. Instinctively, she turned her head to avoid the scene, only to see a bottle of perfume on the bedside table, identical to the one in her car.
随便涂点应付一下吧。
I just tapped on a little and called it done. This one walked over, picked it up. This one had a bit more left than the one in the car, though it was nearly finished as well. She applied it in the familiar way, a few strokes here and there. There were no fragrance steadied her once again, and with it came the certainty that there was something she had to do.
要再拿一瓶出来了， 剩下的我放在哪儿了？
Time to take out another bottle. Where did I put the rest? As she bent down to call Squallion to the bathroom, it unexpectedly leaped into her arms. Holding her breath, Rizwan scooped up the light creature, cuddling it in one arm as they headed for the bathroom. Oh, she treated Pallion like that. With a shaky thumb, she unlocked her phone. It was nearly 11 o'clock. She had spent nearly an hour drying Pallion's fur with a hairdryer.
要去买个大型犬用的吹风机了。
I might need a dryer suitable for large dogs. With his human-like face and soft fur, and without showing any signs of aggression or opening his large mouth, Pallion elicited feelings in Rizwan that lay somewhere between a beloved pet and a dear friend. Pallion appeared quite satisfied with Rizwan's cleaning efforts, hopping around while opening the large mouth on his head. This sight tightened Rizwan's chest, prompting her to push aside her fleeting affection. Pallion was no ordinary creature. It was a far cry from the comforting companionship of a household pet, a truth she dared not forget. Turning her head away, Rizwan chose not to look at Pallion's uneven jointed teeth or its disturbingly nimble tongue anymore. She needed a moment to sit down and think through her plans for the day. The living room was in chaos, offering nowhere to comfortably settle. It seemed her first step would have to be calling the property management to repair the damage to her home.
把小白藏到老白那边，还是
Should I have Pallion at my place, or he was about to sit on the sofa to sort out the situation?
首先，这一连串的怪事都集中在一个夜晚，这肯定和我在沙发上苏醒前的遭遇以及手心的洞有关。
Firstly, the string of odd events that unfolded last night must be connected to the moments before I awoke on the sofa and strange hole in my
那
palm.
接下来应该去找家门口和物业小区里的监控，看夜晚的录像。
Next, I should examine the surveillance footage from the cameras at the entrance to my home and throughout the community, reviewing what they captured during the night.
其次是子弹快用光了，考虑还有可能碰上类似的情况，要去不夜城弄一些。
Additionally, I am almost out of bullets. Considering the likelihood of similar content, I need to replenish my stock from the night city.
接着就是等老白那里出报告吧，估计很难有什么直接的线索。但是小白出现的时机恰到好处，和
Finally,
这些事也脱不开干系。
I await by report. Although it may not reveal much, Pallion's timely appearance seems intricately linked to this occurrence. So there are four important things. Okay, so three things. First is to examine the surveillance footage. At the entrance of the home, and also first to check out the surveillance footage. Second is to replenish the bullets for the handgun. Also, the third is to await vice report, the paymaster report. This appearance intricately linked to this occurrence, so it can give a clue. As Rizwan pondered these plans, Pauline curled up comfortably at her feet, his soft belly and fur brushing against her, suiting her
如果
thoughts.
走投无路，那不管对小白做什么，都
If
要找到
I
解
am
决问
left
题的
with
办
no
法。
other choice, then I must do whatever it takes with Pallion to solve this problem. Rizwan bent down and smoothed Pallion's fur a few times, preparing to take it to biowaste clinic to await the results. In the meantime, she planned to have the property management come to clean and replace the broken
在
glass.
物业来之前，先把带血的东西拿出
I
去
look
扔
at
掉
her
吧。
house. The table already broken, also the window. The glass door. The lamp. The lamp at the top of. I should get rid of anything bloodstain before calling property management. Yeah, don't want him to see this blood. As Lucian pondered where to dispose of the sofa cover and her shirt, Helen suddenly arched his back, staring intently toward the front door. Oh, so that's why he want to get out of the house quickly. Since he don't want to meet the police on the way. So he want to get out of the house quickly. There he didn't even clean up the blood. As Lucian pondered where to at the time, at the night. As Lucian pondered where to dispose of the sofa cover and her shirt, Helen suddenly arched his back, staring intently toward the front door. Trusting Helen's keen senses, Lucian immediately grabbed her handgun and readied herself. But after several tense seconds, nothing happened. She frowned, tiptoed, and moved silently towards the door. Besides the front door, an electronic display showed the cold stone words seen through the surveillance camera. A little girl stood outside, looking around anxiously, blinking rapidly, and occasionally licking her lips. After a moment, she seemed to make up her mind and raised her hand to press the doorbell. Lucian ignored the chiming sound, her eyes fixed on the screen, trying to determine if the girl was carrying any weapons. Why this girl suddenly came to this? The girl, receiving no response, pressed the doorbell again. Oh, so he's in the doorbell.
好像没拿什么东西，但也可能藏在衣服里。而且监视器的角度
This one
也
is
看不清旁
observing
边还有没
her,
有人藏着。
examining her if she's carrying something dangerous. She doesn't seem to be holding anything, but she could be hiding something under her clothes. Also, the camera's angle doesn't clear if anyone else is lurking nearby. With the door still unopened, the girl's blink rate actually increased and she began biting her lower lip while her right leg started to shake. She looked as if she might cry soon. Her eyebrows furrowed and her lips tightly pursed.
再观察一下吧。
Let's watch a little longer. The girl looked up, peering through the door peephole, seemingly oblivious to the surveillance camera position above her.
你好，吕小姐，我的名字叫玄龟，
Hello, Miss Liu. My name is Jasper.
能开一下门吗？
Can you open the door?
玄什么？算了，他怎么知道我的名字？
Rose, what? No, mind. How does she know my name? Rose, what? It is not difficult to find someone's information these days, but the fact that she went out of her way to do so was for suspicion. However, her conviction that Lucian was definitely home suggested a clear purpose for her visit. The girl's nervousness increased as she glanced around and leaned closer to the door, lowering her voice as if confiding in the door handle
你
itself.
放心开门吧，我是普通人类。
Please open the door. I am just a human. If she said that he was a human, it just made it more suspicious. The words delivered with a confident smile only made Lucian more cautious. Yeah, if someone came and said I was a human, I would be more suspicious. The words delivered with a confident smile only made Lucian more cautious. an understandable reaction. To the girl, this appeared to be her trump card, yet it failed to have the desired effect. She lifted her head, her neck retracting slightly, and she
是
continued.
老板让我来找你的，他说想和你做生意，还让我带了个礼物来。
My boss sent me to find you. He wants to do business with you and asked me to bring a gift. As the girl reached into the pocket, the swan instinctively disengaged the safety on her handgun. The girl then pulled out a coin and held up to the peephole. At the moment, Pallian's wing-like appendage flared out and he watched the door with increased vigilance. Clearly, this was no ordinary coin. This one pressed against the wall, cautious of the coin potentially being popped through the peephole. However, contrary to her fears, the girl simply retracted the coin and began to mutter to herself in frustration.
怎么会这样？应该再加呀。
Why isn't this working? She should be home. Her voice grew softer as he spoke, and tears threatened to overflow. Is she about to cry? Going to open the door? This one glanced over to see Pallian folding its wing like appendage and laying back down on the carpet.
他看上去没什么危险，而且明显对这怪物有了解。好吧。
She seems harmless, and she obviously knows something about this creature. See, okay. She might know about this phenomenon because if so, why he mentioned about if whether he is a human. With a gun hand hidden behind her, this one used the left hand to unlock the smaller door within the larger security gate. Looking down through the sturdy steel mesh at the young girl who introduced herself as Jasper.
你好，我是玄龟。
Hello, I'm Jasper.
你是来？
You are here to...
那是什么？
Wow, what is that? Jasper suddenly pressed up against the mesh, her hands gripping the caps, causing Yuswan to almost draw her gun and press it against the girl's forehead. However, the excitement and joy of running from Jasper's face halted her.
毛茸茸的，好可爱，而且好像人。会说话吗？
It's so fluffy, cute, and almost human-like. Does he talk?
不，
No.
脸太像人类了，四肢也不适合直立行走。那它身体上和人类相似的部分，肯定是有什么特殊原因的。
His face is too human-like, and his limbs are unsuited for upright walking. There must be a special reason for the similarities to human anatomy.
头顶像是能打开的构造啊！难道大脑会露出来吗？还是大脑在别的地方？
His head looks like it might open. Could the brain be exposed? Or is it located somewhere else? Jasper's demeanor was like that of a school child visiting a zoo, except the words she uttered carried mixed feelings for this one. Let's steer the conversation back on track.
你刚才说替老板来见我。
You said you were sent by your boss. Hearing Ruswan's question, Jasper quickly regained her composure and stood up straight.
我能先进去吗？在门口说这些东西，怕被路过的人当成傻子。
Yes, can I come in? Discussing this at the doorstep face outward. I don't want passerby to think I am silly. Ruswan nodded, closed the smaller gate, and then struggled briefly with the main security door, still adjusting to the new lock that the property management had installed the previous night. The old one was tampered with. As soon as a silver of light appeared through the opening, Jasper quickly squeezed through into the entryway. As Rosalind stepped inside, also her name was Rosalind. As Rosalind stepped inside, she immediately noticed the electronic screen on the wall.
有监控啊！
对
我还傻傻的对着猫眼一直晃。
Oh, so why the name is Jasper, but it's called Rosalind? There is surveillance. Is it translation? I was foolishly waving at the people earlier. Lucian stepped back to make room for Jasper, keeping her handgun quickly behind her. Oh, so she was very careful about this. She stand by the gun. Jasper rubbed her heels together, slipped off her shoes, and neatly arranged them with a few taps of her foot. Then she dashed into the living room and made her way to Pallion. She knelt on the floor, continuously stroking Pallion's back and neck as though she were petting a dog.
你以前有见过他？
Have you seen it
没
before?
有，我第一次看到长这样的。不过吕小姐是想问我为什么不怕他吧？
No, this is my first time seeing anything like it. But you are wondering why I am not afraid, right, Miss Liu? Lucian nodded. She judged that Jasper was likely still a primary school student given the childishness in her actions. Yet her vocabulary seemed unusually mature for
虽
her
然体
age.
态是人形的，大多很危险，但是连脸部都很像人类的话，反而安全得多，能交流的可能性也很高。
Although humanoid creatures are often dangerous, those with faces that resemble human tend to be much safer. So if it looks like, if the face looks like human, so it's considered safer. So not all humanoid creatures are safe. Only if it resembles human. There is also a higher likelihood of communication. Jasper stretched her neck to get a closer look at the large mark atop Pellion's head, curiously probing him.
而且他能跟你相处的话，说明对人类也有一定认知，没问题的。
And the fact that it interacts with you shows it understands human to some extent. That shouldn't be a problem.
我对这些东西没那么了解，把你的来意和所谓老板都说清楚吧。
I'm not very familiar with these creatures. Please clearly explain why you are here and who this boss of yours is.
差点忘了正事。
Oh, right, I almost forgot the main point. Jasper reached into her pocket and pulled out the same coin she had shown at the door, capturing Pellion's
这是
attention.
老板送给你的东西。
This is a gift from my boss to you. Lucian walked over to Jasper to take the coin, and Pallion followed closely, standing on its hind legs and resting its paws on Lucian's arm, bringing its face close to the coin as if to examine it.
他这是在警惕未知的东西吧？就像我刚才说的那样，对他来说，人类是已知的，所以不会有什么过激的反应。
It's being cautious of the unknown, right? Like I said before, it recognizes humans, so it doesn't react with hostility. The bronze coin featured a relief of a limbless crustacean on one side and was smooth on the other. Pallion, acting like an airport security officer, scanned the coin, then shook his head and settled down beside Lucian, lazily switching his tail.
绿小姐，你看，她很像是在保护你，好少见。
Miss Liu, see, it is almost as if it is trying to protect you. That is quite unusual. Watching Jasper's boundless enthusiasm, Lucian couldn't help but see her as childlike, especially given her forgetfulness about explaining the purpose of the coin.
大人和小孩的差别，就在对常识的了解程度吧。
The difference between adults and children might just be in their understanding of common knowledge.
这硬币有什么用？
What is this coin used for?
不好意思，又忘记了。
Oh, I forgot again. Jasper stood up, pointed at the coin in Lucian's hand and
吕小
explained.
姐，你把硬币抛起来，然后用手抓住，接着手心朝上，猜它是正面还是反面就可以啦。
Miss Liu, throw the coin into the air, catch it, then hold your palm upward and guess if it hits or tails. Lucian nodded, and before flipping the coin, she pulled her right hand from behind her back and set the handgun on the table. Jasper's eye widened in shock, and she instinctively stepped back, distancing herself slightly from Rizwan.
不用担心，我现在相信你不是来害我的，不然做这么多实在大费周章。之后叫我吕璇就行。
Don't worry, I now believe you didn't come here to harm me. Doing so would be overly elaborate. You can just call me Rizwan from now on. Her trust in Jasper, however, was largely based on Pellion's behavior and his reaction to the situation. Okay, Rizwan deftly moved her fingers to position the coin on her thumbnail, then she flickered her thumb, sending the coin spinning into the air, while Jasper looked up in anticipation. Rizwan enjoyed the peculiar whirring sound of the metal slashing through the air, and deliberately let the coin fall a bit further before catching it with one hand.
哇，真有人能单手抓到空中的硬币啊！一般都要另一只手也在旁边护着吧？
Wow, you can really catch a coin in mid-air with one hand. Most people need to use both hands to make sure they catch it. Jasper began clapping, and for a moment, Rizwan couldn't tell if he was being
好
sarcastic.
了，画着螃蟹的那面是正面吧？
Alright, the side with the crab is heads, right?
啊，那个不是螃蟹，不过确实是正面。
There is no crab, but yes, it's heads. Rizwan shifted her gaze to her own hand. Wait. Oh, let me see. Right, is affecting the outcome and ritual.
我猜正面吧，螃蟹那面。
I just hit the side with the crab.
说了不是螃蟹啦。
I already said it's not a crab. Okay, Lisa opened her hand to reveal the image of the crustacean facing up.
哦，猜中了。
Oh, I guess
然
right.
后呢？
What is now? As Lisa finished speaking, the coin quickly filled with cracks, and the crustacean design crumbled like a collapsing sandcastle, turning into fine black dust that sprinkled into her palm. Startled, she was about to shake it off when Jasper suddenly spoke.
吕璇，这就是老板为了表示诚意送给你的礼物。
Rizwan, this is the gift my boss sent to show his sincerity. Jasper gestured towards the chaotic living room behind her. Following Jasper's pointing hand, Rizwan looked up, and her eyes widened in amazement. The scattered glass shards began to move back toward the broken window. The bloodstains on the sofa slowly retracted, revealing the pristine fabric beneath, and the damaged cabinets and lamps defied gravity, lifting back to their original positions. Pallion agilely leaped around, dodging the tumultuous surge of metal pieces and glass, and settled back on the sofa. Rizwan felt as if a thick, murky deep sea was pincing her living room. She could almost hear ancient waves in her ears. The shut-out shelves emitted a strange odor, but the bodies that they grew were poor and beautiful. In this cycle of renewal, it could survive through millennia until Rizwan suddenly regained her senses. The illusion is dissipating, but the transformations in the living room remain a tangible reality.
怎么回事啊？
What happened here? Alright, my introvert bar are getting low. Really, I need to end this. Jasper placed her hands in front of her. Smiling slightly, appearing suddenly more mature.
夜晚被破坏的地方会被全部恢复，且下一次抛硬币时，只要你猜反面，无论正反，都能再发挥一次同样的作用。
Anything damaged during the night will be restored. And the next time you flip the coin, if you choose this, regardless of the actual outcome, you can trigger the same effect again. Oh, so if I choose tail, so if I choose tail, regardless of the actual outcome, so either if I got hit or tail, it will trigger the effect again to restore the damage. But by the time I choose hit.
这便是几丁质硬币，老板希望能借这个礼物和你成为朋友。
This is a cheating coin. My boss hopes it will help us become friends. This one clenched her fist. Anything damage during the night will be restored. Oh, I see. So if I choose hit, it will turn into that time before this thing happened. So currently, like we see now. So if I choose tail, it will restore back the time that this thing happened, like the stain on the sofa and the broken window. It revert back to that time. This is all. You one clench her fist, the black dust of the coin slipping through her fingers.
你到底是谁？你说的老板究竟是什么人？
Who are you exactly? And who is this boss you keep
我
mentioning?
是老板的养女，平时也替他打理店里的事务。
I am the adopted daughter of my boss, and I help run his business. Jasper replied as she sat down on the sofa and hugged a pillow to her chest.
老板说你现在是世界上最富有的人，恐怕追溯过去或者遥想未来，都不会有累积至此的财富集中在个体上。
My boss believes you are now the richest person in the world. It is unlikely there has ever been or will ever be anyone with such immense wealth. Alright, it's 12 AM for me. I will save and continue next time. I also my intro bar already depleted. Thank you guys and bye bye guys.